Constructivism of Jesse Delia. Stop. Before you go forward, make sure you first take the RCQ. Press pause now. The RCQ will take about 10 minutes to complete and much less than 10 minutes to score. Here's where we're going. The role category questionnaire instructions review, the interpersonal constructs as evidence of cognitive complexity, scoring the RCQ for construct differentiation, person-centered messages, the interpersonal edge, message production, crafting goal-based plans for action, beneficial effects of person-centered messages, socializing a new generation of sophisticated speakers. Critique, second thoughts about cognitive complexity. Constructivism seeks to explain individual differences in people's ability to communicate skillfully in social situations. The main tool they have for distinguishing the differences in people's ability to communicate skillfully in social situations is the Role Category Questionnaire, or RCQ. It's a free response survey designed to measure the cognitive complexity of a person's interpersonal perception. To do the Role Category Questionnaire, as you now know, you think about a person you like and a person you dislike, you compare and contrast the personalities, and you describe the person that you like so a stranger would know that person. You describe the person you dislike so a stranger would know that person. Interpersonal constructs as evidence of cognitive complexity. Constructivism argues persons make sense of the world through systems of personal constructs. Interpersonal constructs are cognitive templates or maps that we fit over social reality to order our impressions of people. Constructs are contrasting features we have available to classify other people. An index of social perception skills. Researchers use the RCQ to determine the degree of cognitive complexity, our mental ability to distinguish subtle personality and behavior differences among people. People who think there are two kinds of people are cognitively immature. The second type of person, who believes there are more than two kinds of people, is a more sophisticated observer of social interaction. Cognitive theorists distinguish between mental structures and mental processes. The structure is like the computer hardware, the machinery, the highway. The process is like the computer software, the programming, the cars that run on the highway. Delia and Burleson are more concerned with the structure of constructs than actual judgments. Scoring the RCQ for construct differentiation. Differentiation is the number of separate personality constructs used on RCQ. The number of constructs for both descriptions is regarded as an index of cognitive complexity. RCQ scores are independent of IQ, empathy, writing skill, and extroversion. High scores indicate a wide range of interpersonal constructs. Person-centered messages, the interpersonal edge. Person-centered messages are tailor-made messages crafted for a specific individual and context. They tend to reflect a communicator's ability to anticipate response and adjust. A study done by Clark and Delia on 2nd to 9th grade students links person-centered messages to cognitive complexity. Sophisticated communication is a person-centered message that accomplishes multiple goals. The capacity to create messages is also called rhetorical sensitivity, taking the role of the other, identification, self-monitoring, audience awareness, and listener adaptation. This is a common communication construct, this idea of rhetorical sensitivity and taking the role of the other. All of these can be summarized through the word adaptive communication, adapting your message to your audience. Message production is a 3-stage process of goals assessed, plan selected, and tactics enacted. In other words, the action. Goals include primary and multiple primary goals. Multiple primary goals usually lead to secondary goals. Plans. Once people know what they want the response to achieve, they develop a plan using procedural records. These records are a recollection of an action taken in a specific situation and its consequence. If, when, then implications are included in procedural records. Constructing a cognitive plan. What do we do first? What if prepackaged plans do not seem promising? Are we consciously aware we're engaged in this mental process? How long does it take for goals to activate procedural records and to assemble them into a message plan? Can we change the plan in mid-conversation? Action. Delia wants to explain, predict, and promote person-centered messages. Women tend to use person-centered messages more than do men. A set of interpersonal constructs grows as we become sensitive to the inner lives of others. Beneficial effects of person-centered messages. Constructivist researchers explore positive effects of person-centered messages. Social support messages are comforting messages that try to ease the emotional distress experienced by others. Sophisticated messages are usually more comforting than clumsy social support. Have you ever struggled to tell a person that everything's going to be okay when you knew everything wasn't going to be okay? Relationship maintenance is the process distinct from relational development. The similar skills model argues that relationships fare better when parties possess the same level of verbal sophistication skills. Think about your current relational partner or your previous relational partner. Did you have similar or the same level of verbal sophistication skills? Organizational effectiveness can be represented by the continual use of person-centered messages. The chain of person-centered message production begins with cognitive complexity, moves to sophisticated message plans, then to person-centered messages, and finally to beneficial outcomes. Socializing a new generation of sophisticated speakers. Parents from more advantaged socioeconomic backgrounds are more likely to use sophisticated socialization. Culture can lead to complexity and to more sophisticated communication. Complex ways of thinking and acting tend to perpetuate themselves. It's very difficult to break out of less complex ways of thinking and acting. Critique. Second thoughts about cognitive complexity. Delia launched interpretive theory of cognitive differences. Most researchers are trying to discover laws of behavior that apply equally. The total reliance on the RCQ to gauge cognitive complexity lacks explanatory depth. Constructivism is one of the few well-known communication theories that has sprung from this discipline. That concludes our discussion of constructivism.